boy, is it great to be a Michigan Wolverine today. Final score, Michigan 47, Western Michigan 14. My prediction, 49-17. It's actually one of the few games I've gotten right so far today. The Penn State-Wisconsin game got that completely wrong, but I'm glad I got my own team kind of figured out here. Listen, guys. Listen. This game was as, good as I thought our team was capable of playing, to a certain degree. And looking back on how well we passed and how well we ran, we might have been able to score more. But what was more important was testing out our second and third stringers. And I'm talking about Donovan Edwards, J.J. McCarthy, getting Dan Villari some playing time as well. He got 11 yards rushing on 3 carries. Just all that good stuff. It was good. Michigan, 551 total yards of offense, no turnovers by McNamara. And granted, again, it's against Western Michigan. But Western Michigan this year is a far more competent team than when we faced them in 2018. They went 4-2 last year, and Caleb Ellaby, who went 20 for 37, 191 yards, and a touchdown in this game. Last year, he went for 1,714 yards total passing, 18 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Western Michigan has a potent QB and good wide receivers to support him. And just in general, I'm happy about this win. I was happy about the first drive when I believe it was Blake Corum just got right into the end zone. Just diving into the end zone, doing well. And then Western Michigan had their drive going, and Ladarius Jefferson ran for 2 yards into the end zone, tied 7-7. We return the kickoff down to, I think, our own 20-25. Western Michigan stops us. We had a penalty, and we have to settle for a field goal by Jake Moody. It's 10-7. And then things start going. We stop Western Michigan. I believe we might have, we stopped Western Michigan, might have punted once more. And then Ronnie Bell had that amazing 76-yard pass from Cade McNamara to lead 17-7. Forced Western Michigan to punt again. Hassan Haskins has that amazing breakaway 22-yard run. Just everything going well. It's 27-7 at the half. A.J. Henning has a 75-yard run. The 2-point conversion failed, but it's 33-7. You can't complain about a 2-point conversion failing. You're just practicing at that point. You're doing that to get your guys used to the 2-point conversion, and also just in case Western starts storming back, they need 4 touchdowns and 4 PATs to tie you up. Blake Corum with a 30-yard run in the fourth, followed by Daylen Baldwin's 69-yard pass. Nice from J.J. McCarthy. 47-7. McCarthy just, I watched that play. He was flushed out, trying to escape. He looked across the field, running through. Set himself, not in the best circumstances, through. And at first the announcer was saying, I was thinking, no, why would you do that? And then it was thrown perfectly. Defender could not defend that ball. That was amazing. And shout out to Ronnie Bell's one-handed catch, too. Just proves that he's a great wide receiver. It sucks that he's out. I'm going to read an article about that a little later and link that down in the description, along with ESPN's game summary. But Cade McNamara passing 9 for 11, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Good for him. I think his numbers show us how deadly our wide receivers can be, and even how good our running backs are with catching the ball, namely Blake Corum. Really just how Michigan played. I think we should be throwing a little more. I could be wrong, but it was nice that Harbaugh tested stuff. He tested some stuff this game, played in second and third stringers. He did basically everything I asked of him. The tempo, I don't know too much about the tempo, but like we were scoring. There were some drives where we scored pretty quickly, so I'm gonna give it to Harbaugh here. I'm gonna give all the points, including the brownie points, to Harbaugh here. And that's not me saying Michigan's going to be ranked, or that I want them to be ranked, or I think they're a top 25 team. I don't think they are yet. I think they still need to prove themselves. But a good game against a Western Michigan team who has definitely improved. So moving on from that, I'm going to get a little bit into just some of the takeaways. So the positives for Michigan was the entire offense. The ball was only punted 2 times. You could score basically at will outside of that first quarter when Western's defense was holding us. And the defense did bend a little bit. It maybe cracked in some spots, but it never completely broke. It was solid. We only got 1 sack by Aiden Hutchinson. And he also had a tackle for loss. We only had 3 of those total. So we're not getting the greatest penetration. So that should actually be listed as a concern. Because if you can't get penetration against Western Michigan, and again, maybe Western has a really good offensive line, but I can't imagine then we're going to be able to get penetration much against Penn State, Wisconsin, and Ohio State, and some of the other tough teams that we're going to have to play. But speaking of that, Wisconsin, like, just briefly, like, you really, with our defense and their offense, just to give you a little hint of my thoughts kind of combining those 2 games, I don't know if we would necessarily need to sack their QB a whole lot to win. We just need to contain their run game. But you can check out that video on my channel as well, my breakdown of, just brief breakdown of Wisconsin and Penn State, and how Wisconsin's offense, just outside of Malusi, is just kind of chaos right now. But back to the Michigan game, the defense again bend a little bit, did not break. It allowed over 300 yards, but only 14 points. Good on them. And one of those points came after the 47-7 game, so garbage time points. We only, in truth, likely allowed, 7 points. And it's 47-14, but in truth, final score against second and third stringers, garbage time. The concerns, on the other hand, one more positive would probably be special teams that I didn't list up there. Special teams, and I don't try to make the font too big or too many bullet points because that's boring. You're not supposed to do that in presentations if you didn't know. But special teams could be added. I mean, dude, Blake Corum almost returning kickoff for a touchdown. Ronnie Bell almost returning a punt. Special teams was good. We also blocked a field goal, by the way. Did you hear that? Michigan blocked a field goal. We did something on special teams. Instead of muffing a punt like we did last year, 15 against MSU, and other previous blunders, we actually blocked a field goal. Holy crap. That's amazing. I saw that and I immediately was jumping up and down. It's like, wow, we actually could do something on special teams. Like, geez, that's amazing. Good on Jay Harbaugh, who I'm pretty certain is the special teams coordinator this year. Good on him for coaching that special teams. The concerns, starting fast on offense. Going just leading 10-7 against Western is cute and all, but you can't expect to start the way you did, with that returning the kickoff and then settling for a field goal. You can't do that against Ohio State and Penn State. I'm not even going to talk about Wisconsin too, because again, the offense. But you can't do that. You have to start sooner if you want to contend for the Big Ten. You have to start faster on offense, and all that good stuff. And you have to limit the pass as well. And that kind of ties in with starting fast. You don't need to start so fast I wouldn't be saying this necessarily if Western's first possession was us sacking them 2 times and it ending in a 4th and 30. I wouldn't be saying that. But our defense is still, it's a new scheme. It'll probably, It'll improve as the season goes, but it will be susceptible more so early on. We need to work on limiting the pass. There were some plays given up on third downs. One I remember was a Michigan player put his hand up, and Western's wide receiver just completely ignored the hand and caught it anyway. And the Michigan dude was just sitting on the ground like, darn it. And it's like, yeah, dude, just gave up a third down conversion. And in the end, it's no biggie. Michigan won 47-14, but we allowed almost a 50% production on third down for Western Michigan. And if that's against Western, you're going to really struggle against better offenses. But our offense overall, besides the starting fast part, was like the entire offense was great. Defense is still, I believe, the area of more concern. Actually, similar to last year, the defense was worse than the offense. I think that might be the case here. I don't know. The Washington game, again, will tell a lot, so I'm not going to praise this team too much or criticize it too much. Just good game. Good start to the season by Harbaugh. Again, not praising this Michigan team. There's no reason to sip on the Kool-Aid or anything here, but just good start. First home win since 2019, and first score on our first possession, first touchdown on our first possession since the Ohio State game in 2019. So good job. Another concern is Ronnie Bell's injury, and I'm actually going to read an article on michigan.rivals.com, the Wolverine. Jim Harbaugh on Ronnie Bell injury. Hope for the best, expect the worst. Quote by him. Michigan hammered Western Michigan 47-14 in an easier than anticipated opener. It should not have been anticipated to be close. Western is good, but seriously, it just is what it is. I did not expect, in a certain sense, how people expected this to be a close shootout. At best, in my opinion, I was thinking it to be at best for Western, it would be Michigan would score less, so Western's defense would have stepped up, and as a result of that, Michigan would have made some mistakes and all that. I did not really expect a shootout, for example, a 2010 Michigan versus Illinois game, where the final score is 67-65. Bell was dynamic this entire game, caught a touchdown pass for 76 yards, and a one-handed grab called back for a questionable OPI. Just worried about Ronnie Bell right now as we come out of this game. Jim Harbaugh said after assessing his team's play, that's the biggest concern. He'll get an MRI tonight, and we'll find out the severity of his injury. Harbaugh said they'd hope for the best but expect the worst, and wouldn't specify it was a knee or ankle injury, though it appeared to be the right knee. Wolverines managed several explosive plays, and Bell is the heart and soul of the offense. I think he's our best wide receiver. The one-handed catch was amazing. If we can utilize him and the rest of our wide receivers, that's amazing, but it's a bummer if he's out for the season, torn ACL, something. I don't know. He had to be carted off. I'm hoping he's all good. Cade McNamara said it's very difficult seeing a teammate, a brother, out there hurt. I don't know what to think. I do expect the worst here with seeing how he had to be carted off and couldn't play for the rest of the game. I'm certainly expecting him to be out for a few games, maybe out for the season, but nonetheless, just to bring it back here, for example, again, Daylen Baldwin, AJ Henning. You also just Blake Corum too. Blake Corum really proved that he could catch the ball along with run it. You also got Mike Sanisthrill, who only had one reception, I believe, for -3 yards. And you also had Eric. You have Eric All too. You got Cornelius Johnson, and even Donovan Edwards had a reception too. So you still have multiple options at the receiving end, and Ronnie Bell, probably the best receiver. But with Washington, NIU, and Rutgers coming up, I think we can afford him to be out 3 games up for the Wisconsin game and still be looking at an undefeated team entering Wisconsin. That's all I have to say. If you like this video, this analysis, remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and go blue. Good on Michigan for winning their opener in the Big House in a dominant fashion. Also, comment your thoughts below. Did you expect this game to be exactly how it was? Did you agree with my take on how Michigan would dominate this game? Maybe struggle some, but in the end dominate? Or were you thinking that this game would be closer than it was? Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you around.